saw Taylor made a comment, though, which impressed me that he's actually listening, or at least has listened to an episode.
Well, or saw the post on the Facebook group.
Oh, yeah. Damn. You're right. Never mind. I've gone back to my previous state. You've disabused me of my fanciful notions. Howdy, it's Tuesday, June 9th, 2020, and this is episode 127 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City and Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Askin, joined, as always, by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
I'm ready to talk not at all about coronavirus. This is the only time it will be mentioned on the episode.
We'll see. I have to say that wasn't my smoothest opening, but it'll do. It's not worth doing it again.
Sticking with it.
Because we don't really care about you, the listener. So anyway, what happened in 1927?
Well, in searching for 1927, the one thing that kept coming up again and again was the burlesque nightclub at Ocean, which I've been to.
That's right. It's good for blowing your eardrums out, according to you.
And for some sort of burlesque show that was not really a show, but just
It was
people.
just like strippers grinding on people, isn't that what you said?
Which, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
One thing also about 1927 that just popped up in the Atlantic City Experience search that I do every week is that in 1927, there were twice as many illegal speakeasies in the United States as there were legal bars before Prohibition.
That sounds probably sensible because I'd assume these speakeasies could not contain very many people.
That's a good point.
You kind of need more.
So I don't know if Atlantic City's complete flaunting of the rules
yes
in that time led to a lot of tourism that led to a little bit of a construction boom, but there were 3 hotels opened in 1927, all of them, as you noted before the show, very attractive looking buildings. I think
yes, they were quite ugly, although the Lafayette, I had to say, I thought the picture looked pretty good, but it was obviously from way after 1927 when it had a very like 1960s sign on the outside, and that's really what drew me to it.
I love the 1960s sign. I'll link to that picture if I remember. So the Lafayette, the first one, located on South North Carolina Avenue at Pacific, inland from what is now Resorts, operated into the 80s, foreclosed in 1989, demolished in 1996, now a surface parking lot. So I believe last week, or whatever it was now, 3 weeks ago, we also talked about something that was demolished and is now a surface parking lot. That
was down near Albany, though, right? I think that we talked about a few weeks ago.
So that's one hotel. The Beatles stayed there when they did a concert in the 60s. I think that's what the picture's from. The Columbus, located at St. James Place in Pacific. St. James Place, of course, famously the street that the Irish pub is on.
That's right. Part of the Tennessee Avenue Loop, also an orange property. Not like North Carolina. That's a green, right?
I have no idea. Yeah, sounds right. Green, I believe, is right. I should play more Monopoly.
I don't think so.
So the Columbus, built by the Knights of Columbus, but I think they only owned it for a little while, operated as a hotel until 1969, when it was converted to a retirement home, which was still in use until 1985. It's still standing, but it is not in use. The windows are boarded up and stuff. And then the last one, the Jefferson, located on Kentucky Avenue between the Boardwalk and Pacific, straight inland from Bill's Gyro Souvlaki. Can't beat
so
that.
Good. Yeah, so I actually, Kentucky Avenue has a lot of history, and I didn't know where it was, so I decided to look it up on a Google Maps right before this episode, because that was where, like, the big black culture thing in the 50s and 60s in Atlantic City was. But I was like, oh, that's not actually in a very good area now.
So the Jefferson closed sometime around 1986 or 1987. It's not entirely clear. It was demolished in 2007, right around the same time as the Sands, along with several other buildings, to make way for Pinnacle Entertainment's mega resort. How's that mega resort doing, Kyle?
Is that right? I mean, was the resort going to be that big? Because...
So that's like, it's what, a block away from the old Sands? It's like...
From like the Brighton Park? It's pretty...
2 blocks? It's not that far.
All right, let us go back to Google Maps. That is what the people demand of our podcast. You can make the editing magic happen, Craig. Park Place, Indiana, MLK, Kentucky.
It's not that far.
It's a pretty big resort. That's like 3 city blocks wide.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if it would actually have been that massive. I mean, there's probably plans posted somewhere from way before we were doing this podcast.
I guess it's no bigger than Caesars plus Wild Wild West now.
Yeah, because the empty lot, but the Mount Vernon's like not a real block, right? So I think, I mean, it's really narrow. So I think it's like 2 full blocks.
Yeah, yes. Mount Vernon's not a real block. It's MLK has a full block on either side of it. So yeah, it's like 2
it wouldn't
blocks.
be that much bigger than Bally's.
No, it's the size of like Caesars plus Wild Old West, like I said, which is not
exactly
out of this world. It's like as big as Trop, I think. Trop is a pretty large casino.
My favorite property, Pinnacle Entertainment's unnamed thing.
So good.
So that's 1927. We nailed it. No editing needed. What's next?
I mean, that's it. It's what else do people want? I'll tell you what they want. Open containers on the boardwalk.
That's what we all want.
Has been de facto legal for many times, but is now actually de jure legal as well. So, in designated zones temporarily through November, or when statewide restrictions on bars and restaurants are lifted, whichever comes first. So only in one of the 3 zones that they've laid out, which is the boardwalk from the Old Atlantic Club to just past Revel, non-residential areas of Gardner's Basin, and on the Orange Loop. So New York Ave, Tennessee Ave, and St. James Place. And much like if you've been to New Orleans, Bourbon Street, you have to have your beverages in a plastic container bearing the name or logo of the licensed seller within the open container zones. So it's not like Vegas where you can just walk around with a bottle of beer. It's more like New Orleans, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. Obviously, it's something we've been clamoring for ever since we started this podcast. So Marty Small, mayor of Atlantic City for now, made an executive order saying that this is allowed immediately. And I mean, obviously the circumstances suck, and this is to help businesses right now. We're talking about coronavirus. This is to help businesses right now who are struggling during coronavirus. But I mean, to me, it's been really interesting as stuff starts to reopen, because surrounding towns like Wildwood and Ocean City we've seen pictures of packed boardwalks and lots of people on the beaches, and Atlantic City has been pretty dead. So, I mean, part of that, obviously, the main part of that is that it's a casino town and the casinos are closed. But I had thought before, like, it would be interesting to just drive down there and walk around and see the boardwalk pretty empty, and you don't have to worry about social distancing and all that stuff, because it wouldn't be a problem. And this gives people a reason to do that. Go grab a drink and walk around on the boardwalk.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a win for everyone involved. I mean, I think it's a good idea to get people outside. I think it's a sensible thing for Atlantic City to do, to allow there to be open containers in these places. I think it's good for the person who's in Atlantic City. I mean, I don't think there's any losers, really. I mean, I guess there's people who are be like, it's like going to be more unruly on the boardwalk and not family friendly, but it's hogwash.
What I don't understand is like what they mean by restrictions on bars and restaurants are lifted, because outdoor dining is going to be allowed starting on Monday in New Jersey. So that's not fully lifting the restrictions. The real question, if this really does go through November, when casinos are open, will you really be able to go gambling and then go walk out on the boardwalk, buy a drink, walk around with your cocktail as we really imagine it? Will there really be a time where you can get sort of a full Atlantic City experience with drinking on the boardwalk? I'm skeptical. I
don't know why it wouldn't be. And like, frankly, if this ends up being popular, which I don't know, we'll see. I mean, I would imagine it will be, but there's always like weird local groups that hate their city and don't want it to do well. So there could be a lot of complaining about it.
There does seem to be like almost universal support for this. So hopefully it just goes forward, and it's just one of those things where they're like, oh yeah, that never actually ended.
Yes, I'll say this will go on in perpetuity.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know if it will or not, but hot take.
There are people in the state senate who are trying to make that happen, but it just has never gone through. I mean, they've been trying for years, but
I mean, my thoughts on this have been pretty well fleshed out on the podcast throughout history. But there's just no reason not to do it. You want to be the world's playground, like you need to have open containers allowed.
It's just made for it. Walk down the boardwalk with beer. It's amazing. With a big frozen margarita.
Yeah, just eating your wonderful slice of delicious Joe Rock Cafe. And
man. Yeah.
Friend of the podcast, Joe Rock Cafe. So Showboat, it is becoming a water park, which I know everyone's very excited for, because we've both never heard any rumor about Showboat that has not turned out to be true, nor any rumor about water parks that have not turned out to be true. So it seems like this is a sure bet that it will definitely happen. Right, Craig?
I mean, maybe it's like a double negative.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. We'll hope. So the construction's estimated $100 million. Our friend Bart Bladstein.
He's just known for shelling out lots of money and not ever half-assing anything.
Yeah, so he's seeking CRDA approval for a designation that it's an entertainment district so that he would get some tax breaks. I think it's like $2.5 million a year, up to $2.5 million a year in sales tax breaks. And then there are other tax breaks for like construction and stuff like that. He says, this is going to happen. That's the quote. That inspires a lot
that you
of
can
confidence.
take for his word.
When you have to say, this is going to happen, not inspiring a ton of confidence.
No. Yeah, the fact that is even necessary to be said shows you the state of his reputation, perhaps.
In the state of water parks in Atlantic City.
Yes.
So I'll link to the Wayne Perry article, the AP article, where he really like runs down the history of planned water parks. It's pretty interesting. We've talked about many of them in the past on the podcast, but they say they plan to break ground in August. But I don't know. I thought that we'd heard plans to break ground. What was it, like last summer on the casino next door to Showboat? And that never happened. So I don't know what the deal is.
Bart's Box of Slots.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig.
Yes.
Would you like to ride the polar coaster?
Yeah, when was that going to break ground?
I don't know. That was like episode 2, though, I think. Yeah. So quite a while ago.
2016.
Has not broken ground. Just,
So
spoiler.
Are we betting on this? I mean, what kind of odds could you possibly have to bet on construction of this starting any time in, I don't know, before episode 200 of this show?
I feel like I always come up with the odds. So you come up with the odds. I will tell you which side I will take.
I just can't. I mean, so he said break ground in August. I think that's ridiculous. Let's say break ground by the end of 2021.
Like, what is break ground? Like, Glenn Stroud broke ground technically on the Revel, sort of. Like, he built some rope sparks. Like, they were
That's
actually
true.
built, right?
That's
but
a good
like
point.
Nothing ever came of it. So, like, tell me when a water park's gonna open, I think.
Oh boy. It's never, man. It's not going to happen. Like, I can't put any odds on it. Because he's not going to do it. He's going to sell it, and who knows what somebody else is going to do.
I'll give you the easiest dollar you've ever made in your life. I'll give you 10-1 odds on if there's a water park open by the end of 2021 in Showboat.
Open by the end of
I don't know. How long is it supposed to take?
I have no idea. They didn't say.
Like, it can't take that long to build a water park, right? If it actually breaks ground in August, it'll be well before the end of 2021, right?
Yeah, but none of it's going to happen, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I just can't even imagine what number I mean, I hate being such a downer because, in theory, this is a great idea.
Just take your free dollar, then.
Okay. Why don't you say 2022 and at least give yourself some chance?
All right. Sure.
For 2021, it should be like 100 to 1.
All right. 2022. By the end of 2022.
Okay.
All right. So, I will get to 10 sweet dollars.
I'm going to forget about this because I'm not even
I'm just going to... Oh, come on. Put it in our thing. You are the keeper of the bets.
Okay. Fine.
So while you're doing that, listener guesses for the opening date. You have been the keeper of the Google Forms as well as the keeper of our bet book. And you say we have had 65 guesses. Unfortunately, 7 of them have already passed. 7 more in the next week, which is not gonna happen. 7 more in the week after that. So I don't know what kind of guesses are there. I know you said that there was like 5 for July 2nd and 5 for July 4th. They were the 2 popular days, or 1st and 3rd, or something like that, right?
Yeah, 1st and 3rd. Now I think there's 7 for the 1st and 8 for the 3rd now. And I was really worried that we were gonna potentially have
if it was going to be the 2nd,
winners.
have to send out 15 shirts.
One person picked the second. Finally,
very
saved
late.
Us. Yeah, and I didn't nudge them to do that, so that's because I kept looking at it like somebody just picked the second. So the reason I said 7 more in the next week, 7 the week after that, it seems like none of the announcements are really happening less than 2 weeks in advance. So it seems like about 2 weeks is about the lead time. So I don't think anybody who's got a date before June 23rd has any hope at this point. There is a huge cluster right around July 4th weekend. A lot of people said, like, they need to do it before the 4th of July. They need that weekend. Obviously, a lot of people thought that about Memorial Day, and that didn't happen. So it was interesting in the responses. Well, I'll look at some of the numbers. The June 15th was actually one of the most popular dates picked, but like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th is 20 of our 65 responses. So a 4-day span makes up 20 of our 65 responses. So, and then if you take just the 1st through the 10th of July, it's like almost half of the responses. So early July was where everyone seemed to go. The earliest date that anyone said was May 27th. The latest was September 1st. So nobody went like completely insane and just said, I'm going to say, May of 2021. And if it goes that far, I'll definitely win.
I would think that wouldn't be a terrible bet. Just kind of bidding I guess it's the opposite of bidding $1 on Price is Right, but just bidding April 2021.
Yeah, I mean, you could have said, February 2021 and just had that all to yourselves. But too late now. Submissions are closed. There was a lot of responses, a lot of the comments. I just put in a general comment field where people could say anything they want. And they did say anything they want. A lot of, need my fix, a lot of ASAP, go ahead and open up, that kind of stuff. There was a lot of people saying that they thought that it would be in time for 4th of July, but that they actually didn't think that was a good idea, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, the more I think it's going to be the week of July 4th, and they're just going to, unload a massive rush of people on Atlantic City, and it's going to be insane. But
that sounds right to me, too. It could be the week before that as well, but...
Yeah. So, I mean, that gets right into the cluster of our guesses. If we crowdsourced the guess, our crowdsourcing was very accurate, I think. I mean, obviously accurate. Nothing's happened yet. So some of the comments, Turning Stone in New York is opening on June 10th. I'll go 2 weeks later with a week ramp up for the 4th. That's kind of what I was thinking. I didn't include Turning Stone. The only reason I included this quote was because we had a listener, or I don't know if it's a listener, somebody on our website who's commented multiple times about shoving resort fees up our asses, and how they're going to go in Turning Stone, New York instead.
Indeed, Turning Stone.
Any mention of Turning Stone I have to include.
Oh, I love it. I was there when I was 18. Any casino that lets 18-year-olds in is a casino that I love, especially when I'm 18.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you like Harrah's a lot?
I mean, that's more like 15 or something as far as I can tell.
Do you want to read the next comment?
So, friend of the podcast, Taylor. Yeah. Kind of friend of the podcast. I'd like to make the following qualifications of my date. First, I want to be changed to whatever date will make Kyle the most disgruntled. Second, I reserve the right to revise my date at any time. Third, what is this podcast? Fourth, is there cash value alternative to the shirt? Love, Taylor. Yeah, there's cash value alternative. I'll give you $0.25 if you want instead of your shirt. That'll be fine. But we have a glut of shirts. Not many people are buying them, so... So
what happens if we get 8 winners? Will you really send out 8 shirts, or are we going to just do a random number generator and pick a winner?
I don't know. I think it's still unclear. I think if it's one of the days with 8, that's a lot of shirts to send out.
Yeah. We didn't make any rules here, really.
No. I have to do what's right for the people. We don't want to be like the Ocean Casino Resorts of podcasts and, A, screw over our listener base, but then B, also become wildly successful thereafter. So we don't want that. That's absolutely not what we want. So we'll try to avoid that.
And then the last comment, my favorite comment, you guys make an okay podcast, just okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's, it's better than making a shitty podcast.
Yeah. I can respect that. I mean, I don't
There's nothing wrong with being
necessarily
okay, man.
disagree.
I mean, I will say, we've talked many times about how we're not really out to make the biggest podcast in the world. So, yeah, I mean, our podcast's not for everyone, and I don't know what to tell you. Glad you find it okay.
Yeah, just okay.
Due for a refund.
Yeah. Was that also just okay? Maybe it's the same person.
Maybe. It was something like that, which, with the title of Due for a Refund, you would think it would be more negative.
It was but good, not great, or something like that, yeah.
Yes. I think that was the comment or the subject was good, not great.
And it was 1 star. Write a review and help people find the show, or whatever it is.
Oh, yes, that is. I've forgotten for 123 episodes, but it is our God-sworn duty as podcasters to say, when you write a review, it really helps other people find us. Please log into iTunes and give us 5 stars.
Nobody ever writes reviews because we don't ask for it.
Yeah,
honestly, we get no reviews, ever.
We really don't have a lot of reviews.
I don't think we've had a review in months.
Yeah, I don't care.
And that was a friend of mine who I don't think listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Save your time. Do something fun instead. Don't do that shit.
Interesting strategy. Let's see if it pays off. Should we talk non-coronavirus mailbag?
Yes.
This will be a much more fun mailbag than
Indeed.
coronavirus mailbag. Should we save Megan K to the end to make her wait as long as possible?
Save her for next week. No. As far as I can tell, all proper procedures were followed. It was not posted in the Everything AC Facebook group. We can jump into it first. How did you guys become friends, and when did you first bond over AC gambling? Not sure if this has been covered on the pod before, and I want my bonus points for a non-corona question. So, Megan K, we became friends in college because my best friend at the time and I decided to get a divorce after living together for the first 2 years of college. Decided it was just not working because I was a math major and all my classes were on one side of campus, and he was an English major and all his classes were on the other side of campus.
The good side of campus.
So, no, not the good side of campus. So he decided to live closer to, all of his classes, and I decided to live closer to all my classes. And so when he moved out, he moved into a room with Mr. Craig Stone, and that is where we met. So yeah, my other friend Craig, ironically, moved in with you, and that's how we met.
That's it. It's the whole story. Well, how did we bond over gambling, though? Like, when did that become a thing?
It's so... I don't know. It's something that you probably know better, because obviously gambling's been kind of a big part of my life for quite a while. I think it's more interesting to, like, what made you initially want to go to Atlantic City at all?
I don't know. And I'd had chances to go before and had never gone. And then I moved to New York, and I had never gone when I lived in Maryland. So you guys had gone. I don't know if you even invited me or not, but I had never gone with you guys to Atlantic City. I'm sure Craig must have invited me at some point, and I didn't go. And when I moved to New York, I think it was I was interested in checking it out, but also it was an in-between place. And I remember saying to another friend of ours that also lived with me and other Craig that I could totally see myself going to Atlantic City once and thinking I never need to do that again. And clearly that is not at all what happened. So yeah, it just became sort of this meeting place. We've said this on the podcast a bunch of times, this is the equidistant sort of place, not totally equidistant, but it's an easy meeting spot between the two of us. And it's also, I got totally sucked into Atlantic City and just completely loved it the first time I went, even though the gambling was a complete disaster. And we just started talking about it nonstop. I feel almost immediately after that first trip, it was all we talked about on Google, whatever at the time. GChat.
And we used to talk a lot on GChat back in the old days before my job was a zoo, and I would actually talk in GChats.
Yeah. Now I just have to GChat our other friends stuff about Atlantic City, and they're I don't care, Craig. I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to hear about the show.
Are you still on GChat a lot, despite doing childcare and
yeah,
working?
I guess I'm GChatting less, and more of all my GChats are complaints about how my kids are bothering me while I'm trying to do work.
Once you go back to work, probably you'll be back in the swing of things.
Who knows when that will ever even happen?
Do you think class will be open in the fall for you?
I don't think we'll be fully face to face to start. I think it'll be some sort of hybrid scenario, but we'll see.
That's a little surprising to me, given that New York's actually doing quite well now, and that there's probably, because it was so bad for a while, there's some level of herd immunity. But we're talking about coronavirus, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
So one thing I do want to mention, because we've looked back many times at our GChat conversations from all the way back then, because GChat will save them, is I remember thinking
You mean Google Buzz?
Yeah, is that what it's called?
That's I think that's what it's saved as back in the old days.
That it was going to be, $100 a night or something, and that would be a really good deal to stay at Caesars, flagship Caesars Entertainment property, or at that time Harris Entertainment property in Atlantic City.
Was this something I was saying too, or was that just you? Because
no, that was something I was thinking in my mind, not knowing what to expect. And then at one point you messaged me yeah, so it's me, you, and Taylor. We got 2 nights. It's going to be something stupid, $15 each total. And I was just blown away.
Yeah. So the best before the first trip is, I remember specifically, Craig is so what's the dress code in the casinos? And I was what? It's what's the dress code? And I'm you probably have to wear pants. I don't know. Yeah. Not no pants. Wear a shirt.
Yeah. And if you've ever seen Kyle at a casino, you know that,
Yeah.
I was asking the wrong person for one thing. Or maybe I was asking the right person, because you don't know that you can.
I just love that you thought that there was a dress code. It's Monaco or something. Yeah. Monte Carlo, I mean, or something.
Yeah, it should be.
Should be jacket required like Monte Carlo.
Yeah. It's the Monaco of the Atlantic or something.
That's what they call Atlantic City, yes.
Yes. Next question, Tom L., who actually I think had a couple questions in the last episode too. How do your significant others feel about you doing an AC podcast? I imagine there's a lot of eye rolling.
That sounds about right. My wife personally doesn't really care either way. I mean, she used to listen a decent bit, but as far as I know, she doesn't anymore. So, yeah, I don't know. She just eye roll, basically. I think eye roll is a good emoji to describe how she feels about it.
I think my wife thinks it's like interesting that I do it and that I put so much time and effort into it. I think she more eye rolls the fact that like I just want to go to Atlantic City all the time. Any chance I have to get a weekend away from the kids, I want to go to Atlantic City and I want to talk about Atlantic City and that kind of stuff. So that's probably more the eye rolling, but I guess that's related to having a podcast.
Yeah. So his second question is, can you recap your best and worst gambling trip or session if it's easier?
I'm not sure I can remember my worst gambling session. I mean, my best was when I hit the Royal Progressive at Bally's for $2,600. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, my worst gambling trip certainly was my last one. I mean, I think we talked about it, but it was a just disaster from pillar to post. I mean, from start to finish, it was bad. I lost everything. Best probably is when I went to MGM National Harbor to meet Dr. Bike, and he was playing at a $50 craps table, which is like more than I'm really comfortable with playing craps for, you know, because when it's $50 and you're talking about what, like 250 in odds behind or whatever, and, you know, very expensive 6 and 8s. But it turned out to be quite a good thing that he was playing at a $50 table, because the first 2 rollers, of which I was one of them, like both had monstrous rolls. So I left that table up something like 2,500 or something like that. And that is definitely, I think, by a pretty wide margin, my biggest win.
So I'll say one interesting thing about losing trips, I don't find them all that memorable. I feel like my biggest losing trips are just trips where there's no like one single big loss. It's just like everything you sit down at, you lose.
Yeah, and that's how my last trip was.
Yeah. And so you're just like losing. And then at the end of the trip, you're like, oh, check your whatever cash you have left. And you're like, oh, that was a lot. So it's weird because I don't really have any experiences where I just remember thinking like, oh, I'm just getting destroyed at this table or anything like that, except my very first trip with you and Taylor.
Yeah, we all 3 got slaughtered the first day.
Yeah, we were playing like 4-card poker, 3-card poker, and blackjack.
I don't understand how you can lose at those 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean...
So I think I was down like $300 the first night, which is hilarious in retrospect.
Right.
But because at the time I was thinking like, oh, we really gambled just like the entire time. And I really remember thinking like I was just getting absolutely killed, which,
yeah.
You know.
Again, yeah, even for me, it was like, I was probably down like $500 the first night. And for me, I was like, that was a lot back then.
It was interesting because it felt really awful because I was just like, I can't believe that this is even possible. Like, why does anybody go to a casino if this is the way it is? Yeah. Right? Or if this is even like a thing that can happen. But actually, I've said this, I think, before on the podcast. Like, I think it was really good for me in the long run to see, even at really low limits, how bad it can go and how quickly it can go bad, especially in something like blackjack. So understanding sort of the reality of it, I think was a good thing. And then I did play some Pai-Gow poker, I think right before I left, and like rebounded by $150 or something. And of course, then I felt great and I was like, yes, this is amazing.
I think we all came back a little bit from after that first night, which definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what would have happened. Like, what would have happened if I just had another day like the first day and then just left feeling like, well, that sucked. Like, I just lost a ton of money. I mean, I had fun doing all the other stuff despite the losing, but, you know, I was 25 or 26 at that point. And
yeah, it was like 2010 that we went. So that sounds right.
Yeah, like that felt like more significant than it does now.
Yeah. I mean, I know when I say I lost like $500 in that first night, that was probably to that point, like one of the worst, maybe the worst day I've had in my life, because it wasn't too long before that. I mean, when I first started going to Atlantic City, I'd bring $300 with me for the whole trip, like, period.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I brought $300, and I think I like lost it all, and I think that's the only time I've ever gone to an ATM on a trip, and then like went right back to a blackjack table, and then lost like another $100 immediately, and I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. And like I remember just the dealer's face when I left the second time, just like somebody looking at like a sad puppy dog, and just like, oh man, I feel so bad for you, because I probably looked like I was 12.
But yeah,
you said the worst day of your life. You mean like the worst day of your life, not just like your worst day of your gambling life.
Worst day of my gambling life. No. Yeah, not the worst day of my life. But
still to this day.
It really wasn't long before that. Like, when I was 21, 22, I would bring $300 for the entire trip, and that was what I would gamble. And there were many trips when I was that young that, you know, I'd kind of like blow it all in the first like 18 hours there or whatever, and then have 18 more hours of walking the boardwalk or whatever. So,
yeah.
But I always still had fun doing that. But I was always very good with, like, when I was done, I was done. Back in the old days. I'm less good at that now, I think.
Oh man, I wish I could remember who posted this on Twitter. I think Vegas Fanboy responded, but our Travel Fanboy responded, but I don't think he was originally posted it. But said something like, I almost miss the feeling of being like 22, 23 years old and only going with $200 or $300, and it just meant so much. Like, every table you sat down on when you had $10 hand just meant so much. And you just knew that you might have that situation where, you know, after night one, you're just wandering around the strip and you can't gamble anymore. And so, like, I do sort of almost romanticize that in my mind, but I'm sure I'm much happier now going and just knowing,
no,
like,
it is better now. Yeah. But there is something that was, or, you know, famously when we went to our buddy's bachelor party in Vegas, and that was, to that point in my life, like, by a wide margin, the worst trip of my life. Certainly the first time I lost 4 digits on a gambling trip, but I brought a certain amount of money, which I thought was going to be way more than enough. And then I kind of ran out of money, and, like, you know, I'd walk to, back then it was just like one of those things that as a Bank of America customer, I'm like, I'm not going to pay like $5 for an ATM, like, whatever, I'll just walk somewhere and go to a Bank of America ATM. And the one was on, like, the, you know, in the M&M store on the strip. I don't know if you remember where that is, kind of down past Planet Hollywood or whatever, like between there and MGM, where there's kind of like a black hole of casinos. But, yeah, so I went there, took out some money, like, lost all that, and then, like, while we were at Hard Rock, there was Bank of America on the other side of the UNLV campus, which, for those of you who don't know, UNLV is, like, kind of right across the street from Hard Rock, so I walked through UNLV's campus and went to, like, an actual bank and got more money out, so it was kind of, like, cute and naive back then, like, when I think about that, like, me trying to save, like, the $5 on ATM fees.
Yeah.
I don't know. Simpler times, man.
I'm still like, I'll never pay that $5 fee. And it's like, that's idiotic.
Oh.
Like, what difference does it make?
I get my fees reimbursed, yeah, so.
Yeah, our friend Andy loves to get pay the highest fee possible. He's like, stick it to the bank. Anyways, Phil J via email asked, if one host, I love this question, by the way. If one host discusses a restaurant I've never heard of, and while talking, the other host refers to it as your favorite, what are the chances it's a good restaurant?
So it depends on how much your tastes really align with the other host. I mean, it's obviously, I think the first host is making fun of the second host when he says that, so.
Yes.
I think your host does not believe that it's good in that case, but, you know, I don't know. Depends on your taste. Certainly, your host doesn't think it's a good restaurant if he says that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, so, like, we talked about Chickies and Pete's in the last mailbag, where I actually really do think Chickies and Pete's is very good. And you would certainly say, if Chickies and Pete's came up, you would say your favorite.
I'd be like, it's your favorite. Yeah, 100%.
Or Irish Pub, certainly. Like, I think Irish Pub is excellent value.
Oh my god.
I love
Irish Pub
there.
Is like the legitimately worst food in the entire world.
It's the most generic, totally neutral food in the entire universe. And it costs like a nickel.
It is incredibly cheap, but it is also very bad.
I love Irish Pub. I miss it.
Well, if you miss it so much, you should stay there.
That's a good point. Well, like, I would also say, like, Joe Rock Cafe is your favorite, right? So it probably means that it's not.
Yeah.
Certainly not duly recommended by the hosts of Due for a Win, and probably is not actually recommended. Period.
Due for a Win recommends Joe Rock Cafe if you hate your life.
Yeah. And then the other part of the question, if a person unknown to the listener who is not Carl Icahn is referred to as either a friend, a good friend, or a friend of the show, should the listener assume that you actually like that person?
I think if it's a friend or a good friend, you can assume yes. Friend of the show. Obviously, we've been kind of making fun of it the last few weeks because we've seen this question in the hopper. But it depends. It depends. Some people, I think, like, let's say Eric Rosenthal or Dr. Dave, like, they are friends of the show. And some other people that we say are friends of the show, like Bart Blatstein or, you know, whoever, like, probably aren't.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anybody who is...
If it's someone you haven't heard of and we say they're a friend of the show, I think you can assume we probably like them. You as a fairly knowledgeable Atlantic City, you know, listener.
Yeah, I mean, if it's somebody you haven't heard of, but they're also somebody who's, you know, developing property in Atlantic City.
Or not developing property in Atlantic City in the case of Bart Blatstein.
Yes.
Friend of the show, Bart Blatstein.
Yeah, certainly being facetious.
Purchasing and not developing property.
Yeah, so I admit that can be difficult when it's hard to figure out when to take us literally and not literally in that situation. But I think probably if it's someone who is not in a position where they own things in Atlantic City or could own things in Atlantic City, and it's not somebody that you've heard of, like, you know, Gary Loveman or a former CEO.
What a name! I haven't heard that name in a long time. The Love Man. MBA teacher's hero, Gary Loveman.
Yeah. He was proudly mentioned in maybe more than one, definitely one.
He was definitely mentioned in like 3 of my classes as like, this guy is all of our heroes. Went from being a business school professor to running a wildly successful company until it went in the shitter.
Hey, if you only focus on the case study of Total Rewards as a rewards program, he was absolutely a genius. If you look at anything else he did, questionable. Friend of the show, Gary Loveman.
I wonder what he's doing. I bet if we tried, we could actually get him on the show. I don't think he's got too much going on.
Who knows? He's probably like consulting.
I'm sure he's consulting for like $500 an hour or something. So
maybe he would not be on the show.
Yeah, perhaps not.
One last question. What do we got?
Friend of the show, Justin W. says via Facebook.
Absolutely, friend of the show, Justin W.
Absolutely.
He would never say our podcast is just okay. That's for sure.
Yeah, super fan, Justin W. The only person he'd say is just okay is Megan K. But, So Justin asks, top 5 list in no order of things you miss in Atlantic City that no longer exist, like the Disney Dolphin. I don't know, Craig. What are some things that you miss that aren't there anymore?
So I don't think I ever actually like sat and had a drink at the Disney Dolphin.
I don't actually think I did either. And for as much as I love the Hilton, which by the way, I think is probably my number 1, but,
yeah, same. Former Atlantic Club, Hilton. Yeah.
Yes, the Atlantic Club.
Everything about it.
Especially just the cafe up on the 2nd floor.
I mean, I never went until it was like way past its prime, right? It was already the ACH, I think, by the first time I went. And,
yeah, it's not as good.
But I remember I think I was just like sitting there with my wife at that cafe and just like looking at the big marble arch things that were, you know, had the hint of Wynn design because it was originally the Golden Nugget and designed by Wynn. And just thinking like, you can tell that this was so nice when it opened and like wouldn't take that much to restore it, and it never happened. I also have on my list the Showboat Asian gaming room with the coldest Coors Light.
The coldest Coors Light. And the secret bathroom.
I loved the sort of like hidden noodle shop there.
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool. I never ate there, but I just loved the concept.
Walked through it many times to get to the secret bathroom.
The Showboat Casino, like I really wish I sort of like scoffed at the Showboat because it was always like the cheapest of the Caesars properties when we were going and it was still open.
Well, frankly, I think a lot of times Harrah's was also very cheap.
Yeah.
Caesars and Bally's used to be a bit more expensive, I think. But yeah, Showboat and Harrah's were definitely the cheap properties.
Yeah, and we finally started staying there with like 6 months left before Showboat closed. Yeah. And like we really loved it. The sort of brightness of the casino floor, the layout and everything I just thought was great. And the rooms were actually surprisingly good. Yeah, it had seal the deal slots. And there were just like little things about it that I really liked that I thought were sort of overlooked. So I miss Showboat, certainly, and specifically I'll say the Asian gaming room. And do you have anything else? I mean, we're only at 2 things here.
I don't know what used to be there that was really great that's not there anymore.
The Irish restaurant at the pier shops.
That is a good one. The Trinity was very good. We used to go there every trip.
Yeah, get the hot sandwich special. Amazing.
Oh, it was good. Despite it being a running punchline for the first 30 episodes of the show, at least, I really enjoyed when Sack of Subs was in Harrah's. Though I guess it's in Bally's now and I never go anymore, so maybe not. I never walk through that, like down that hallway towards Claridge or whatever, so.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say really the whole pier shops when they were not all closed. Like that was pretty nice at the time.
Fat Burger.
Oh, Fat Burger. Yeah, that's a good one.
The place that I always declare I could never eat at sober because it would just ruin it for myself.
Both in Vegas and in AC.
Oh, man. Oh, I was so drunk that night in Vegas when we were playing Kings and the Little Men at the table.
At the just getting like laughed at by the
yeah, everyone that walked in thought it was great because there was just like huge piles of dollar bills on our table. We were playing Kings and the Little Men.
Yeah, it's like the nerdiest dorks you've ever seen.
for those who don't know, is just an absolutely terrible poker game, and you should not play it. But it's really fun when you're incredibly drunk and just want to gamble on pure luck.
So I think we've got 4: Atlantic Club, Showboat Asian Room, Irish Restaurant at the Pier Shops,
Fat
Burger. Do you have another one? I have one that's my number 2 behind the Atlantic Club.
All right, go for it.
The animatronics at the Wild Wild West.
Oh God, that's no.
Can I sway you on at least the fully realized all the tables, the cheap tables at the Wild Wild West that stretched all the way around the back to like the Keno room and stuff?
That was good when it went all the way back to like near the Virginia City buffet.
And the dedicated video poker room. Oh, so good.
That was good.
I think my very first trip, I sat in just like a seat by the Keno room, just thinking like, man, I'm losing a lot of money. This sucks. And I was probably down like $150 at that point.
Just contemplating your life and what all the wrong turns you took to get to this point.
Yeah. I also played a lot of damn Lumberjack Beavers at the Wild Wild West.
Indeed.
I miss damn Lumberjack Beavers. I mean, I personally would say the animatronics, but I'm willing to make it more general and say the like full Wild Wild West casino that used to be there. And then honorable mention for Cereal Town, which I never actually went to.
I used to go to the Starbucks and the beer shops a lot.
Oh, yeah. That
sucked when that closed.
Just an amazing view. Didn't open until 11 a.m., which made no sense at all.
It was the worst Starbucks in the entire country, I'm sure. But I would still go there quite a lot.
Yeah.
And, get a little caffeine to put some pep in my step.
I feel like I would always end up there, like, right before I went to the bus.
Mm-hmm. It's no Starbucks and shitter in the Trump Plaza, but...
That's where I used to go right when I got off the bus, because that used to be the first bus route you could get in the morning. And so I'd just go to Trump Plaza, get there at like 9 in the morning, and go straight to Starbucks. What about the top 5 list of things you'd like to see go away, which was the second part of the question? 5 things that can fuck right off. What do you got?
Friend of the show, Bart Bledstein.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we already got one asshole out of town when Straub left, so...
Wow.
I don't think Bart Bledstein is nearly as racist or likely to get arrested for trying to extort an ex-girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, Glenn Straub's had some troubles since he left Atlantic City. This is a tough one, because there's not that many things that I'm just, like, really strongly dislike. I have a note here specifically saying, Kyle, don't say Chickies and Pete's.
Oh. No, I don't. I mean, I think it's funny that you love it so much, but I don't need to see it go away, other than it would be funny to see how sad you were about it.
One thing that really bothers me, and this is kind of a cop-out, is like the midweek and winter parking fees on the boardwalk that are like $25 a day. Like, that's insane. Get rid of that. You don't need that.
I mean, I think usually in winter there's like resorts and Trop at least almost always have free parking in winter.
Yeah, Caesars though, it's always like $25 on the weekend. It's nuts. It's dumb.
I mean, I've pretty much been Diamond for a while now, so
yeah. I mean, you can also gamble for like 15 minutes and you get
right.
Parking.
And like, yes, getting a parking voucher from Caesars is very easy. You need like 10 tier credits or something. So
William Hill Video Poker Bar at Ocean. I love video poker bars. It's the worst one. It sucks. I just don't like it.
The Traps Video Poker Bar does not seem very good either.
The 10 North Lounge?
Whatever the one is that's kind of near the table game area.
Yeah, I don't know. Justin S. said that he liked it okay. I've never been, so I can't say anything. I can't say it has to be removed. The William Hill Bar, though, just like crappy video poker, crappy service, smoky as all get out. Like, not great.
The West Tower Drop.
Yeah. I feel like, so what do we got here?
The really shitty room I stayed in the Ocean Tower at Caesars last trip.
Yeah.
The Forum Tower. I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't very good.
Yeah. Cafe Roma at Caesars. I've been a couple times. It's been really not good both times.
Joe Rock Cafe.
Yeah. Joe Rock Cafe. Good point.
Only went once when I was incredibly drunk. And even then I was like, this slice of pizza is not very good. I don't know why I paid like $8 for the shit.
If you could get rid of like 80% of the head shops on the boardwalk, I think that would be great. I mean, as long as something would go in their place.
Things not to get rid of, though, certainly when you're like walking down the boardwalk and it's empty at like 3 a.m. and you're like, one of the like random guys who push the carts like walks next to you and is like, come on, man, why don't you just like go to Stilettos for like 3 minutes and say that I brought you so I get paid and then you can just leave? Like, I think that's great. That needs to stay.
Agreed. It's important.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Like, look, you don't even have to stay. Just walk in the door and then walk right back out.
Have we hit 5? You know what? Something controversial opinion. Very popular, but I could totally take it or leave it, and actually it would be fine if it was gone. All the beach bars. And really, it's not that the beach...
I've never been, so...
I've never been either. It's not the beach bars specifically that I don't like. It's that you can't get away from them. So if you actually want to be on the beach, there is always like pounding bass anywhere you are at on the beach because of the beach bars in season.
I've never been to the beach in Atlantic City, so I wouldn't know. Literally never stepped foot on the sand, I don't think.
Unbelievable. You call yourself an Atlantic City podcaster.
I've looked out over it from Suzai.
And that's really as close as you need to be.
Yeah.
Are we out of questions?
Oh, something that I'd like to see go away. Land Shark Bar and Grill. Absolutely awful. Like one of the worst places I've ever eaten in my life. Doesn't need to be there.
No qualifiers.
Undisputedly just terrible food.
Hey, you can get to go from there right now. It is open, or so I'm told. So you can go get your to-go booze, get some nachos or whatever, some chicken tenders.
Harry's is very good, though. Though the last couple times I've been, there have been pretty big service problems at the beginning of the service, but I don't know what's up with that.
Yep. All right. I think we've shit on enough stuff at Atlantic City.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here to do. We're here to close out the podcast.
So if you'd like to reach out to us or any of our other listeners, you can do so at a Facebook group, facebook.com/group/doforwin. Go to doforwin.com and buy our shirts. We have so many shirts. Please buy them. It makes me sad every time I look and see how many shirts we have. But we won't anymore after like 12 people win the contest, I'm sure.
That's a good point.
Find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, but not YouTube, because Craig hates you. You can reach out to Craig on Twitter at DoForAWin or me at Kyle Askin and send Craig some questions to doforwin@gmail.com. Even if it is not a mailbag episode, we like to answer your mail because it gives us something to do, and there's not a whole lot of news right now.
Yeah, and be sure to write a review on us.
Yes, rate us 5 stars, not 1 star. 1 star is bad, but 5 stars. That is good. I give you permission in lieu of sending your next Patreon payment. You may write a 5-star review instead.
I think that's a good idea.
Boardwalk Empire, yeah.
Drama.
Episode 8. Well,
drama
there was drama before the episode, yes, because it is no longer free on Amazon Prime. So I declared I just didn't want to do it anymore. But you said hero of the podcast, Mark Duvall, is still watching it and expects us to also watch it.
I think that's right.
So instead, you sent me a link to a website which tried to give my computer cancer, judging by the 12 things it tried to download.
That was a totally legitimate website.
Undoubtedly viruses.
Can't say the name of the website on the podcast, but it was totally legitimate, I assure everyone.
I just love it when it's pop-ups and it's like, this wants to download like 12 files. There's like weird pop-ups that are like, whatever you do, don't click cancel, please click OK.
That's how you know that the site is legit.
Anyway, we did manage to watch this episode of Boardwalk Empire. So the major plot, Nucky goes to Chicago to go to the Republican National Convention to pick a president in the election in 1920. And while he's there, his brother is running the city. And, you know, as these things happen with his brother, you know, gets into trouble, ends up getting shot, trying to pick up the money from the casino. So Nucky has to turn tail and go back to Atlantic City. But before he does, reaches out to Jimmy, tells Jimmy he wants him to come back. And I don't know. I think that's the major plot points. Did I miss anything?
No, seems like Jimmy's coming back, which I said last episode, like the reconciliation. It was going to
happen in like season 2. Yeah.
I didn't know. I really wasn't sure if he was going to come back as friend of Nucky or as rival of Nucky. So it seems like it's going toward friend of Nucky.
Uh-huh.
Any other notes about interesting things in the episode? I don't have really any other major plot points, but
I've got some interesting notes, but you can go ahead. Let's read your notes first and see what you've got.
Shooter McGavin was in it.
Absolutely. As the handler for Warren G. Harding. So good.
Ends up making a deal with Nucky about, like, you know, if the top two candidates end up splitting votes and it gets down to everybody being tired and just wants to pick somebody, they'll pick Harding, and Nucky says that he will get New Jersey on their side for that, which seemed like very contingent.
I will say that this was as a, you know, sort of, as someone who kind of like vaguely knows about history, it seems like this checked all of the major check boxes that what people say Warren G. Harding was like. Like, A, he was not the brightest guy in the whole world. B, he had like a lot of problems with affairs. Like, he had a lot of women that he was sleeping with, like see like the thing he's probably the most famous for in the world are his like love letters to his lovers, which one I read during the episode. Like, just if you don't know, like, well, he ended up dying in office, like his wife said he was going to, but shortly after he died, like, he's pretty much considered one of the worst presidents in American history because, like, all his cabinet members, because he basically couldn't provide oversight because he wasn't that bright of a guy, allegedly, were all horrifically corrupt and did a lot of, like, very corrupt things while he was in office. So, it was an excellent representation of Warren G. Harding by Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah. One funny thing, the sort of like backroom political deal between Shooter McGavin and Nucky happening in front of the giant American flag.
Yes.
About as subtle as a kick in the teeth, as Nucky said previously in the episode. This is America, corrupt politics. Anyways. Shooting Nucky's brother, probably not gonna go real well for the upstart AC gang. That's my thought.
Nah, I doubt it. Especially now that Jimmy's back in town. Jimmy... Not even nice Jimmy, but very mean Jimmy now.
Murdering Jimmy with his sniper friend.
Yes. Probably not going to go well for them.
I think your prediction about Doyle not being long for this world, absolutely correct.
Don't think it's going to go well for him in specific.
Van Alden sent the money back to
I think that was the number one best part of the episode when Van Alden is like, I cannot have this money because my wife is just nagging me too much about getting this surgery. I have to send it to Jimmy's wife instead.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So good. Like the best thing that has happened on the show to this point, I think.
Yeah, kind of weird. Van Alden, very complex and weird person.
What a man.
So the episode ends with Margaret opening the ledger while Nucky's away and noticing all the gambling and booze things happening. So,
yes.
I mean, it's not like she's shocked, right? Like, she had to know that this is what's going on.
Well, I mean, I think the surprising thing to me looking at it, which, especially if you think about it in terms of 1920, is the sums of money on there. They were in the 6 digits, which is probably like the equivalent of like 8 digits today or whatever. So,
Nucky's getting
absolutely
paid.
Monstrous sums of money moving around the city. But yeah, the only other note, so like Harding and Van Alden were 2 of my special notes, which we've already talked about. The third one, like a very funny part of the movie, is when Nucky's brother and all his friends were watching porn.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. So weird.
So good. So good.
Yeah. My only other note is, Nucky calls Margaret and tells her to go to his like penthouse and watch over this ledger. Mm-hmm. And her kids just immediately fall asleep. Like, new strange house, whatever. Asleep within 2 minutes. That's not realistic.
I don't know. I think my kids fall asleep pretty quick wherever they are.
If you took them to the penthouse at the Ritz, also known as the Marlboro Blenheim, they would just be totally fine with it.
Probably.
Interesting. Now we
know. I don't know.
So you and your kids can stay at the Irish pub.
Probably. My kids would be fine with staying at the Irish pub.
All right, so... maybe I'll try to figure out some better arrangements for episode 9 than the very legitimate site that I sent you.
I know. I need to buy it on DVD or something now. I don't know. Like I said, I looked for the DVDs. They were very expensive. So I'm not sure what the next steps are going to be, but we'll try to keep it going and hopefully not through websites as terrible as the one we watched it on.
Each season's like $7 on eBay. Buy it now, free shipping. It seems reasonable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Pre-owned DVDs, not much of a market, I have to say.
Like, I think Amazon maybe doesn't let you really even sell pre-owned DVDs anymore.
That's funny.
But anyway, yeah,
we'll
very
figure
good.
it out.
So thank you guys very much for listening. Sorry for the bit of a delay in the episode, but we will hopefully get back with you in a couple weeks, maybe with some news of casino openings.
Maybe with news of winners
getting shirts.
We'll see.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Your chair is very loud.
It is quite squeaky. It needs to be situated.
It's awful. I hate it.